Hello guys, thank you so much for sparing your time to be here with us again. This is Track Mind TV and the show is FlashPoint. I am your host, Sharon, and today we have an amazing guest. Hi Steve.
Hi.
Thank you for gracing this invite.
I'm honored.
We are so excited to have you here. So today we'll be talking about thriving in the marketplace, and we have Steve here who has given me a bio of who he is, and I am in awe. I'm like, okay. So without further ado, Karibu Sana.
Thank you.
Please introduce yourself to our viewers and just tell us more about yourself.
So my name is Stephen Kariuki. I'm CEO and founder of Ally Company. We've created a social media app known as Stories App. You can find it in Play Store. Just search Stories with a Z at the end. This is a social media app that we created when I was still a student. I was a third-year student, and it's a place for young people to be authentic, to share their real stories, both sad and good. Yes.
I love that. And just to recap this, it is Stories, STORIE with a Z, not S.
Exactly.
So you can get that on Play Store just to see what Steve is all about. I'm seated with a CEO. Like I feel so, I'm seated. My circle is becoming really influential right here. So first of all, you said you came up with this app, and before you told me, what did you study in campus?
Anthropology.
Anthropology. I now know someone who has studied anthropology, guys. Wow. And now you're in the IT space.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that conversion and what inspired you to go the IT way, or you're just a geek?
No. When I was a first year, I had an interest in IT. And then around when I was a second year, I started to do printing. We were doing printing in the room and stuff like that. Then I started a small shop at the stall at a student center. I had like 2-3 employees, and then that's where I taught myself graphic design, because politicians needed you to design their posters. You'd never say you don't know anything. So
I was just about to say, is it the Kikuyu in you? Okay.
So I taught myself graphic design, and then after that I did programming, and boom, that's how I
ended up into the app space.
Exactly.
I love the fact that you're saying you figured this all out by yourself, and you were not limited by the space of you having studied anthropology. You went ahead and pursued your dreams or what you were so passionate about. And I think that's really important with the people who are viewing us, because it's about pursuing what you like and studying it at an early age. And look, you're now a CEO.
By the grace of God,
That's amazing. Amen, by the grace of God. So how did you find yourself in a world that, how do you find yourself in a world that already tells you who you are even before you are born? I think the question is asking, there's this outside pressure that you need to be this person. How have you overcome that, especially you that I'm sure your parents were like, you've done anthropology, right? You've studied for 4 years or 5-6 years, and now you're doing something else. They're like, yo, what happened? Just told us to invest in IT, Malamoja.
Actually, Sharon, there is a story you need to hear.
Please tell us.
I grew up being the last in class. All the way from class 1, I used to be the last, and not just the last, it's the last with a margin. Second last has left you with like 200-300 marks.
Are you serious?
Yes. I used to be,
I'm in shock right now.
I used to be beaten every day. Like literally every day. The only day that I was not beaten was on, because those days were time in Chapa Sunday school. So the only time that you are not beaten is mkiwa na mgeni or it's Christmas.
Okay.
Yes, you were beaten the whole year. Yes, because when you go to school, I have to do something, because I was naughty, all these things. I'm the last in class. You go at home, you do something wrong. So all this affected my self-esteem. Yes, I remember one day, I think in class 5, I hadn't completed a mathematics assignment, and the teacher sent me home, and she said, "Go come with your parent." And I decided, who am I to come with my mom? I passed in another direction. Then it happened somehow. We just met with my mom.
Or that direction.
Yeah.
Talk about God.
Because akanichapa kwa barabara.
Yeah.
And then now we actually headed to the school. And the teacher told my mom that your child will end up to be no one in this society because he's foolish, he's always the last in class. And I remember my mom cried. I was in class 5 then. And so I remember those words to date, that I will never end up anything in the society. I was in class 5, so that was the lifestyle. That's how we grew up. The story changed when I was in class 8. It's more spiritual. I think in class 8 we were the last ones. We had done a mathematics assignment, and we were just nearing to do our
KCP, yes.
KCP, yes. So tukapangwa kwa in front of the class. We were told to remove our shoes. We were beaten, barefooted.
At the bottom part of your feet. Yeah.
Yes, and in our hands with the teacher, and it was. I felt this is not the way we should treat a child.
Yeah.
And I remember after that going back and praying, and that was my first experiential encounter with God, because I told God, if we don't intervene, I would die. Like literally, I felt this pressure by the society.
So much pressure.
It was a lot.
And they were adding physical abuse to it. So
everything to it, yes. So, and I think after that, we were in the same school I had repeated in class 4. After the incident, I forgot it. After the incident, I repeated. So, my sister, I've left her with 1 year, so we were
in the same class.
In the same class, exactly.
Yeah.
So, I remember after that, I felt clever. I felt like a knowledge had come over my head or something. Because it was so real to the point I shared with my sister. I told her, I can't wait for the next exam. And the next exam, I had an 82.
Wow.
Yes, and when I improved in mathematics, I improved in all others.
Every other aspect.
Yeah, until the teacher actually said, "We are maybe." Like, there's no
way.
They
couldn't believe you could do that
well.
Yes,
I used to be the last all the time. There's no way I could get a 92 after 20 something or 30 something. That's what I used to get all the time in mathematics. I used to get zeros in mathematics.
Yeah.
Yes. So then the second exam, I'm having 90 something, and then boom, that was it. The teacher started saying, change, start reading like this one, and there's no reading I did. There was nothing I did. It was just an experiential encounter of God. Yes.
So that is getting me on so many levels, because on my YouTube channel, a few weeks ago, I've had this conversation about people just telling kids that they're stupid and just telling them things that they cannot make it because they're simply not good in school.
Yeah.
And I was asking myself, have you actually thought that probably this kid is having difficulty learning, or they're a slow learner? Like, have you sat down? Because we have people who are slow learners, and it's part of life. So listening to your story, and I'm curious to ask, did the caning change you, or was it just like, did the caning change how you viewed education and made you better in your schoolwork?
I don't think.
You don't think so?
If it would have changed, it would have given me better grades. And then if it would have changed, I had this personality, this as a result of being told you're worthless. I remember even actually thinking that when I was younger, I never believed that I could say something and people would clap, like they were saying, I'm sitting here with the CEO. I remember thinking, my point is not valid. It's interesting. I'm never valid to kind of like say something that somebody can consider. I think that's what I used to think. I had a very low self-esteem. So if those canes then change, they never change that. They never change that at all. I think it was just the power of God that just comes.
Amen.
That actually changed all that.
Changed your life
because
and
the
gave you
caning,
assurance.
I don't think the caning did change.
This is so insightful, and I think these are difficult conversations that we should have more often, to be honest. What would you tell us, what's your identity now? How has life changed for you? Just tell us about your identity now, because you've said you've gone through self-esteem issues, and one thing that I think our parents also don't understand is the way we are brought up affects our future a lot. And it is something that has held back people for ages. And they just think, oh no, they're just being rebellious, or they're just being, Tell us a little bit about your identity.
I'll gravitate towards that.
Please.
Yes. So actually, it's a bit more when we go to the identity and how it has changed everything.
Yeah.
Where we are right now. After that, that was a good incident. And then, yes, I passed in my KCPE. Then I go to a high school. Yes. I went to a good high school because I had
good grades.
I had good grades.
Yeah.
But when I went to this high school, when you just got arrangewa na marks that you joined with in high school. That's what it was. Yes. Yeah, with like I remember I was among the last ones.
You were still good, but yes. You were among the last.
Because it was a provincial school. Provincial schools zenye walikuwa wanaziprevent zikuwe national ndo.
Yes, I know but that.
It's supposed to be a national school.
National, but they've put it as a provincial.
Yes,
so that
yes. So when we are arranged according to our marks, then I was I think position 191 out of 211.
Okay.
Now when you walikuwa chini yangu, they were giving the fees for something, but for me I didn't. So ideally I should have been like the last one in that school, and the reason I joined that school because my dad was the chaplain.
Okay.
Yes. So to cut the long story short, in Form 2, the school we had a Christian preschool.
Yeah.
So the school used to preach for 15 minutes before the prep starts.
Before prep starts, yes.
So I remember one day when I was in Form 2, when we were preaching, after I preached, I went back to where I was sitting, and there was my desk man. And they used to go and underline my name up on Newman and Kapasi, or Reverend. They used to call me Reverend.
Oh, Reverend, that was your nickname, Reverend.
Reverend. Yes. So, and he told me, never preach to us. Islam, so it will be there because you're foolish. In fact, he opened for me the book of Proverbs. He told me, ile siku utakuwa chupi, come and preach to us, to Hubirie. So I remember I went back to my cubicle. Kuna rooms, si kama na
need cubicle space. Yes.
I cried until we had this bed covers. Iko kama Masai shots. So I cried until a patch of it was wet, not with water, but with tears.
With tears.
Now, the interesting thing about that is, after that, the same incident I had in class, after that, I felt clever. I shared it with my best friend. They remember to this day. I shared it with him, and I told him, feel to me, Nichopi, like something has come.
It's like something has just changed.
Something has
There's
just
a shift.
changed. But now, this was grand. Because
it was bigger.
The shift, you're thinking, changes. Everything, it's like now, I'll tell you later on, I came to know it's actually a Bible verse which says, is there any one of you who lacks wisdom? Let him pray to the Father above. So I didn't know that. So I came to know that when I was a 4th year. It's when I rewinded back. I'll tell you a story behind it.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was it. After that, I was out of 190 something position. I was number 42. I was the most improved. Because I had the principal, kapewa gifts.
That's amazing.
Yes, from that point, hata nikaanza kulala class, nikaanza kuitwa chopi. I started to go to symposiums.
You're competing
now. Never gone. Yes. And that was an experiential encounter because that I never forget. Now, to come back to where we are right now, all that, I went to campus, that's how I got to campus, that's how I got to anthropology and all these things.
Yeah, clearly, because anyone who does anthropology is smart. Like very smart.
So around, in 4th year when we are launching this app, I'm the most innovative student from our university. Everyone is talking about it.
You didn't mention that, and you were supposed to mention that in your intro. Steve here was awarded the best innovative student
Moi University,
in Moi University.
In the 37th graduation.
Yes. On the 37th graduation. Guys, we're sitting with a legend here. You know?
Tulikuwa na kina Chandaria. Anyway.
Okay. Ooh, nice.
Yeah. So, I remember that time, there was this young lady, I can't even remember.
Yeah.
Everyone in the school knew about us, everyone knew about the app, but I think nobody thought about just getting a sitting with this young guy from the same university they were school with. I remember this lady looked for me, and I used to stay outside school. And she came to my room and she knocked, and she's like, I'm looking for Steve. And I'm Steve, yes. And she's like, I just want to speak to you. And I come in, yeah, sure. So I want you to tell me, where do you get all this wisdom? Where do you do this? At that time is when it hit me. You know, in the time life in a head. By the way, where did it actually start?
Where did it start?
Yeah. So I started to rewind.
Yeah.
So is it 4th year? No. Is it third year? No. Is it second year? No. So I went all back to the Form 2 incident, and that's when I remembered, could be this day I did not just get academic wisdom, I got something extra.
Yeah.
I got, and later on I've watched a lot of movies. Now talking back to something that you raised, is it Abraham Lincoln who said that, for example, a fish, you can take a fish out of the water and start teaching it how to climb trees.
Yes,
and,
yes.
Or else I'll take a monkey and then take it into the water.
Yes.
And that's why I love things to do there. Nowadays, our culture, people are doing poetry, like we've seen here,
word,
people are doing anything creative, people are doing spoken words, people are into IT spaces, people are literally into people have discovered that there's something God created them to do.
Yes.
You are not boxed to chemistry, to
maths, you're not boxed to an office and a keyboard.
Yes.
You can do something.
You can do a lot of stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. So that was a lot. Would you say you found your purpose in life? Have you found your purpose in life?
I would say yes.
Okay. And how did you find it?
Because I would put it this way, I would narrow down, everything is seen in a spiritual eye. Purpose is to actually know God and enjoy Him ultimately. So having found the one who is all things, I think David says, actually Paul refers to it and he says that God made man and he determined his boundaries so that man would somehow seek him. That verse ideally means God akisema aliunda boundaries zako. He created everything about you, the people you would meet, your destiny and everything. And then Paul says this was because so that perhaps men may seek for him, though he is not far from any one of us. And then he continues and says, because in him we live, move, and have our being. Ideally that means God, I think David talks about him being the shield, the shelter, and he says, I have found God, therefore I shall not be in want. And when we have found God, we have our greatest purpose. There is nothing ideally we may want. We have found Him who is our Redeemer. Yeah. So our purpose is ideally wrapped around that. Now, talking of the world, how it would look at purpose, for example, because you cannot tie purpose. I'm a guy who we run an office. We have like 14 employees and all that.
Hold up on that. We're gonna dive deeper into what you do. Yes. Please go ahead.
So having handled a lot of finances at my age, then I would say purpose, because I've been there and all these high stages interacting with all these big people in the country, big names. I found there's actually an emptiness. Purpose can only be found inside God, and then the thing, because these things don't define you. You don't. I tell people in the office, don't call me a CEO, call me Steve. So because I don't derive my identity and my purpose through what I do. Yes.
I really, really, really love that, because often you will find people deriving who they are by what they do. Yes. Which means you are not anyone if you're not doing what you're doing. Which is really, people don't understand that, but I love that you said that. Please tell us a little bit about your stories up and you just told me when we were breaking the ice that you have employees that I'm like, wow, that's dope, that's really great. So please tell us about that.
So Stories Up is an app for young people, for millennials and Generation Z, and we are building an ecosystem where, and this is where I see social media moving into. This is where I see the direction that social media will go into. We are living in a generation where nobody is authentic.
Very true.
It's like
it's
like people are they're looking for something that's a bit authentic. You've seen these shows with Abomu Tour, and he's talking about the stories of his life. And he just started the YouTube channel the other day, and he has a lot of followers. And guys,
amazing.
Kina Jalas are like, "Aya, tuanzeni hizi vitu, you know this track my YouTube.
Let's do this.
Because they've discovered, people are like, they want some touch of something authentic,
Yeah.
something they can draw life from.
Yeah.
Because everything in a kind of fake, this privacy issues.
Something that is relatable.
Yes, exactly.
We need to give stories, and I love the fact that you've given us our story. I mean, your story,
Yes.
and you say that people are looking down on you because
Yes.
you aren't good in class.
Yes.
That is authentic,
Yes,
and I'm
yes.
sure a lot of our viewers
yes.
can actually relate to
Exactly,
that.
exactly,
So
yes,
I love that you started an app,
Yeah.
and you're authentic as well.
Yes. And there's
When
something I
telling your own
shared with
story.
you. Yes, and there's something I shared with you.
Yes.
I told you that people actually relate with weaknesses. Nobody does relate with
To
success.
strength and success.
Nitaileta jina Uhuru
By
when he
the
was
way,
a child, you know. But there's something I love
Yes.
that Uhuru, before he was elected the president, he shared with Churchill. He was invited to Churchill.
Yes.
And he said, kuna siku moja aliharasiwa, he was a form 1. Called Budake, sinajua Budake ni. And then he calls
Father
him,
of the nation.
Yes, and he's like, he was thinking, nikicall Buddha, si hata
Itasotiwa.
itasotiwa, they'll be taken to jail. Hamjui Buddha ni nani. So
You
he
don't
calls
know
his,
my father.
you don't know.
Who
So
is
he
your
was thinking
father?
ati watakuja na majeshi tu huko
Ati they
Marine
come
in the school. And the dad told him, hey, kijana, learn to solve your own
problems.
Exactly. And you see, when he shared that, a normal Kenyan, probably those are some of the reasons we elected him. A normal Kenyan feels like, ngoja, this guy.
So you've been bullied like I have.
Yes, we've been bullied like I have. So we relate to that. When Bob Collymore is sharing how I think his first job was like sweeping an office,
Yeah.
brought up by I think not ideally the parents. And so me when I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, oh, I can be a CEO. Like
Even if my
the late Bob
grandmother
Collymore.
has
Yes.
brought me up.
Yes. So there's a way ukisikia Ruto alikuwa anauza makaa, you're thinking, oh,
I could also be a
I
successful
could also be a
politician.
DP. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that ground up, and this is what people have been filtering for
Yes.
ages. This is what IG does. Exactly.
Yes, that is
I'm
what
not-
Instagram does.
Yes,
like
yes.
I'll be up on my phone and I'm
Yes.
looking like
Yes.
with all filters
Yes.
and all.
Yes.
But
and that's the
no
reason.
one really knows what's going on inside.
Yes, nobody knows whether you're actually dying inside.
I'm happy
Yes.
or
Yes, you just put up a facade. You put up. I love to
Yes.
put it. Don't take it in the wrong way.
No, please.
For the ladies, I love to put it this way. It's like, how do you call this? Makeup. It's like makeup.
He's talking about makeup.
there's a lady, a friend of mine. She was telling me there are guys who've never seen their wife without makeups.
How would you marry someone with you've never seen?
Akitoka kwa bed anamka around 12 and
There are people who do that.
Yeah, yes. Kuna levels. So
I'm shook.
Yeah.
I think those are self-esteem issues that are deeper than that makeup.
Yeah, and I hear today kuna hata za is it waterproof?
Waterproof,
So,
yes.
kwa swimming pool unatoka ukiwa tu.
The
Yes.
water test. These days we pass the water test.
Yes. Now the issue is, it's not that makeup is wrong. No,
Yeah.
makeup is good. It came. People are looking now better. People are looking
Yeah,
good.
it's enhancing your
Yes,
beauty.
it's enhancing.
Yeah,
Now the issue is when this makeup becomes your identity.
very true.
Now that's the issue with the social media. It's not that it's bad once in a while to put up, but you know the thing with life, and that's the beauty. Everything has seasons.
Yeah.
So there's the part of up and there's the part of down.
Down.
You're never all the time happy. You're never all the time, having these gigs.
Yeah.
There are times when you're sad. There are times when, and you ought to share that.
Very true.
How will that help? That one helps in the sense of when somebody else is going through something difficult, is not thinking, kumbe ni mimi tu. That person is able to identify. That person is able to see these high people and think, they're having them. Let me tell you one thing. All these big people we see in the news, everywhere, these people have their bad down moments.
But worst, lowest moments. But you'll never see that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Some of them, they are even worse than us, but you never see them out there. Yeah. So there's no that authenticity, which is what we are trying to bring in stories up. And guys just sharing their stories.
How many employees do you have? I think that also please tell our viewers so that they can feel inspired to start up things and be more like you.
Yeah. So we have around 14.
Wow.
Yeah. So bad.
So you can find the stories app on Play Store.
Yes.
So if you have an Android phone, please do go ahead and support Steve here and the startup that he has so much spoken about, and that is amazing, and that is just encouraging you guys at home and me as well to be authentic and tell our stories. Steve, thank you so much for honoring our invite. It was amazing having you.
Thank you for having me.
I hope you guys have enjoyed this show. Please leave your questions and comments down below in the comment section, because we would definitely love to chat up with you guys and hear what you have to say. Until then, stay safe and bye.